the Mercedes S550 2010. Got the key fob right here, Mercedes key fob. Open the door, mirrors do unfold. And you go ahead and set it in. The cool thing, I will say one cool thing about this car, a lot of people don't know, these doors are weighted. So you know how on normal cars, your door will swing forwards or backwards and like maybe hit you in the leg or anything like that? These doors, no matter where you keep them, are always going to stay and they'll never move any other way. Just a little fun fact that not a lot of people know about. But stepping in here, you got your unlock, lock button, three-way, or I guess not three-way, your three memory setting seats. You can actually control the passenger side seat. So all the controls are there using this here, which is a really neat feature, as well as heated and cooled, so you can turn on the other ones as well. You have your headrest support, backrest supports, the seat, and then actually the bolster can move forward and backwards too, which is a pretty cool feature. You do have a storage compartment right here as well. Opens right up. A lot of people as well, if you're big into audio quality, this has the Harman Kardon stereo. These door panels, this trim right here will rattle on some of these cars. So if you're looking at one of these, play some sound system stuff, play something with some bass and see if these rattle. It's an easy fix. It's only a couple screws holding it in, but that is something to look into. You'll also notice how this car has kind of a bluish tint to the windows, whereas like say for example, this car over here does not. They're actually UV coated, which is really cool during the summer. It won't get as hot inside the cabin, which is a really neat feature. But yeah, so stepping in, if you go ahead and step in here, you do have these soft closing doors. So if I close the door and it doesn't latch quite all the way, it'll pull it shut for it. So once again, you do have your automatic headlights. You can control them manually as well. Got your parking brake. It is electronic in this car. And then you have your turn signal as well as your windshield wipers. So three-way, actually four-way settings. The first two are variable, so they'll adjust automatically. I actually just kind of leave them on because they don't really go off when it's not raining, which is kind of neat. Another thing a lot of people don't know until they actually either buy one of these cars or have ridden in one, the lights. It has lights all around here as well as all around here. If you guys would like, I can post a video showing that. But that's a pretty cool feature as well. So moving on to the steering wheel, you got your buttons here, as well as back button, voice command button. The voice command on these cars, honestly, is not really anything to write home about. I personally would not get one, but whatever. Answer phone, hang up, mute, volume buttons. Very nice. And this is actually leather as well. It's not just a like a fake thing. It's actually stitched leather, which is really cool. So yeah, so if you have your car right here, if you close your door, you have the logo lights up. Everything comes to life. This is actually a screen right here, this whole section. So this particular car does not have it, but they have the option for a night vision camera. And the night vision camera uses that same display. So there's a display there and then the display there as well. This one does not have, I don't want to say all the options, but it's pretty standard model one, so it doesn't really have a whole lot. The dimmer switches, that left one is for this screen and this one is for the other screen. You have sport mode as far as the suspension, and then you can raise the vehicle as well, which is pretty cool. You also have stitched leather all the way up top here. And then you can of course see the Mercedes logo as you drive your car. Anyway, moving on. Paddle shifters, forward, reverse, and then you have all of your buttons. But let me start the car. It is getting really cold. Give me just a second here. So you put the key in the ignition, your seat slides forward as well as your steering wheel. All your lights come on the dash, and then when you turn your key, it should start right up. And you're good to go. So, on this car, a lot of things, one of the things that a lot of people don't really know about, actually there's a lot of things people don't know about these cars. So, of course, your steering wheel moves forwards and backwards. This does have it, so see on the bottom, trip, navi, audio, telephone. This is actually kind of a general Mercedes thing. You can move these back and forth using the buttons, and you can toggle between different things. Yeah, you can see this car actually has 200,858 miles on it, which is insane for one of these cars. but you can forward, like left and right to move between things, and then up and down to move between the different menus. So yeah, really neat features there. And I love this system. Some people hate it, some people love it. I personally love it. I think it's very intuitive and it works really well. But yeah, so you've got your home link up here. So you've got three memory settings there, and then you have your dome light button, rear lights, cabin lights, the Embrace SOS system, as well as the extra lights, and then more dome lights. You also have a sunglass holder up here. A lot of people don't realize that as well. Click on that, pops right down. Pretty neat. Of course, you do have, as standard, a sunroof. This one does not have the panoramic roof option, but that was an option on this car. Pretty basic sunroof, you know, it's a piece of glass. What can I say? Actually, you can see the lights there. Gives you kind of a little bit of an idea of how the lights are. But that's a really, really cool feature at night. So you got your analog clock. You do have automatic climate controls, of course. Cooled, heat, all that good stuff. One thing I will say that I love about this car, it's never loud. So in other cars, like if I turn my heater up all the way, like if I turn my fan up all as loud as it'll go, that's it. I don't know, and I don't know if it comes across in the camera as loud, but it's pretty quiet compared to regular cars. But you put it in auto and it just kind of creates a kind of a cool, soothing atmosphere, which is kind of weird to say, but it's true. So push this button here. You do have a 6-disc CD changer, as well as an SD card slot reader. I'm filming this in 2019, so not really many people use CDs in their car, but whatever. SD card reader, kind of the same thing. I don't know a lot of people that take the time to do that stuff, but it's there if you need it. It's cool. So there is that. You push this one back, actually, and then you have your cigarette lighter as well as your ashtray. So there's that one. And then this here is, of course, your cup holders. And if you ever need to clean it, what's kind of neat is you can just flick this here, and this all pops out, and you have access to clean it. My cup holder is kind of dirty right now, but it gives you a little bit of an idea. So there is that. On here you also have, so this is comfort sport mode for the throttle, so you can change it comfort sport mode. This actually folds the headrest in back, which is kind of neat. And then this will fold the rear sunshade. So if I press this button, you can see over here that sunshade starts to come down. If you are looking at one of these that has the option of the side shades as well, there is no button per se, like right here. It'll just be the regular climate control buttons will also control that. So you'd push it once to bring up the window and then another time to bring that up. But just a pretty neat feature as far as that goes. So we'll put that back up. Headrests will fold down, so if they're up, you just push the button and they all pop down. Pretty neat. Switch between disc and radio, back button, the hazards, of course. This is for if your car has them, the massage seat functions. If your car doesn't have massaging seats, which mine does not, it would just be for the lumbar control. But it's nice that the button actually does something instead of just sitting there. So on button for the radio, volume, and then your favorites button. I honestly have never used that volume switch. I actually didn't even know it was there till probably a few weeks after I bought the car. I just use this because it's so much easier, and it's right there. But it's there in case you need it. This is the command system. So if you see here, if I go back to, like, for example, telephone, I can scroll through it using this knob. One kind of neat feature about this, so the knob will turn only until there is the end of a selection, and then it won't let you move it anymore, but it'll let you turn it all the way to the other side of the menu, and then all of a sudden you can't move it anymore. So kind of neat that they thought of that, but it's also kind of strange. Kind of a little quirk, I guess you could say. This does have all-wheel drive, 4MATIC. This is, if you flip this up, you can dial phone numbers there, as well as tune to presets or direct radio stations, if you use like satellite radio, FM, AM, anything like that. Moving on to the center console here, we do have, so there's a light here, obviously. There's a little divider here, but you can actually move that as well. You just push the button, not push the button, you just slide it over, and then this whole center console is wide open. And I will say it's probably the biggest center console I've had on any car. I'm sure there's someone out there that's like, oh, I have a truck that'll fit more, but it's pretty huge. So, but anyway, that's a pretty neat feature. The other thing that's cool about these, so this opens from the driver's side. However, if you're a passenger as well, all you have to do is reach it on the other side, and there's also a button on that side, and then it opens up to the same storage compartment. So kind of neat that they thought of that, rather than having it open up and anything like that. You just open it from whatever side you would like, and it opens, which is pretty neat. Moving on to the rear seat, I will say this is by far the most legroom I've ever had in a car. A lot of pictures don't really do it justice online. But that is the door, which first off is huge, and then you have all that legroom, and that seat's back quite a ways. Like, that's my driving position, and I don't sit super close to the wheel. And I'm sitting here, and I have all, like, it's insane. I have enough legroom to, like, if I'm laying I'm laying down right now, and I have enough room. It's pretty crazy. So, but you do have vents back here that blow directly on you, which is amazing. As well as here, some of them have an option where you have quad zone climate control, so you can have the front and then the rear and all that stuff. This one does not, just has the passenger driver side, and then that will control these vents as well. But still kind of a neat feature that has that. You also have down here, you have your 12 volt, actually 212, it's 212 volts is what it is, 212 volt outlets, so pretty neat feature as well. Pretty standard, but pretty cool. Here as well, you will have the two, so you can actually control this window here, as well as this one over here from the other side, which is a pretty neat feature actually. I really like it. You also have lights back here as well, and then you've got your, of course, your ashtrays here. And then, like I said earlier, you do have a button here for the rear sunshade, but if you have the option for the side shades, you just push the window button up one more time and it'll bring up your shades, just so you're aware. One thing I forgot to mention, which is another pretty standard feature in cars, but you pull this down here and you have a center console, which is pretty decent. It's pretty good for resting your arm on. You open it up here and it's got some storage, as well as, I don't really know what this is. It's like kind of a it's like a sticky surface to keep things from sliding around. I don't know. And then your cup holders are right there. I should have started on the outside, but it was cold and I decided to start on the inside. But anyway, you have, on these cars, you have bi-xenon lights, which is super cool. So HIDs, as well as you have an LED running light here, an LED running light down here on 2010 and up. That's how you know if it's 2010 and up. They have the LEDs there, and then you have some LEDs on the side here. This turns into your turn signal whenever you turn, so I'll show that in a second. And then these lights right here, which doesn't really look like a light, is actually active cornering. So when you turn your wheel here, or you turn your turn signal on, I think it's below like 5 or 10 miles an hour, it actually lights up the corner. So like if my lights are on here, if I turn my blinker on, it actually lights up like the whole ground here, which is just like, it sounds kind of dumb and people are like, oh, why would you need that? But it's super useful and I absolutely love it. But do have the AMG style rims. There are 19, I believe. Is it 19? Yeah, 19 inch. Just to show you the soft closed doors from the outside, you pull them, and of course you close them, and it zips it shut just like that. Same thing with the back doors as well, which you really get a perspective of how big this door is when you open it. It is giant. But close this door here, and it just clicks right into place. So moving on to the back, you do have all LED taillights. So really sweet looking taillights here. You have the S550 badge, Mercedes badge, as well as the 4MATIC. And if I open the trunk here, which I actually have, I didn't realize a bunch of stuff in my trunk. But anyway, you do have a giant trunk, as you would expect with a car this size. The trunk is massive. But yeah, you've got a first aid kit that comes standard. This car actually has the split view system too, which is, I actually haven't tested it out yet. I'll have to update how that works. But it has a remote and a set of headphones, and if you are sitting inside of the passenger compartment in the passenger seat, you can actually see something on the screen that's different than the driver. I can maybe show that. I'll try it in a minute. But yeah, to close the trunk, you don't even have to do anything. You just push the button here, and it is all automatic. Starting to rain, I'll show you these turn signals and the crazy, insanely bright turn signals. And then I'm going to go inside because it's starting to lightning and everything. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer questions or take another video or anything like that on these cars. They're fantastic cars. I really like them. And you really can't go wrong with one. Thank you.